When I was a kid growing up in Zachary, I always remember that my dad would say, "Son, you will never know love until you have a child. It's not like the love for a parent or the love for a spouse or the love for a brother or sister. It's special." And of course, I was a kid and I always used to say, "Oh, sure, Dad." Boy, Dad was right. And I found out when God smiled on Becky and me and we got our son Preston when he was just a few days old. It gives me great hope to know that so many Americans are united on the issue of defending innocent, unborn life. And I want to thank everyone, every single one of you who's coming to our nation's capital today for playing such an important role in this historic, this noble struggle. We are all fighting to give a voice to the voiceless. What's more American than that? And to defend the defenseless. What's more American than that? Now, advocates for abortion claim that they're fighting for the right to choose. But babies don't choose to die. And human life is precious. It is so precious. It has value whether it's 82 years old or 82 seconds old. You know, my prayers are for all life, and my prayers are with every American marching today for life. God bless you, and thank you, God, for life.
We have much to be hopeful for this year at March for Life. In December, the Supreme Court heard arguments in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health, a case about a law from my state of Mississippi banning abortion after 15 weeks. The Dobbs case presents the most significant pro-life legal opening in half a century. With hope and prayer, thousands have marched each year for decades at the annual March for Life. Today, we march with greater hope and prayer for the Supreme Court to show grace to the unborn in the Dobbs case.
I'm Senator Tommy Tuberville from the great state of Alabama, where we are unapologetically pro-life. We are united in our belief that life begins at conception and that we are all wonderfully made by our Creator. I will continue to be a proud voice for the voiceless and work toward our mission to protect the sanctity of life here in Washington.
Hi, it's Elise. I am proudly pro-life and believe that we have the responsibility to protect and defend all lives, especially the lives of the unborn. With today's medical care, premature babies are increasingly able to survive outside of the womb at 22 weeks or even earlier. As early as 5 weeks, unborn babies have a heartbeat. By 10 weeks, unborn babies have arms, legs, fingers, and toes. Their pain receptors have been developing for weeks. By 15 weeks, babies have fully developed hearts. They can also make facial expressions and suck their thumbs. After becoming a new mom in August, the fight to defend life has never been more important to me. The unborn are truly the most vulnerable among us, which is why we must stand on the side of life. I have supported measures to stop the taxpayer funding of abortions and continue to fight Democrats' attempts to eliminate the Hyde Amendment, a historic bipartisan measure which prevents taxpayer dollars from being used to fund abortions. This week, I joined my colleagues in sending a letter to the Government Accountability Office to provide oversight into whether Planned Parenthood improperly received funds from the Paycheck Protection Program during the COVID-19 pandemic. When nearly 60% of Americans oppose abortion, they should have peace of mind that their hard-earned taxpayer dollars are not funding this practice. A critical part of this fight for life is promoting a culture of life in America. I am proud to support alternatives to abortion such as adoption and foster care. This Congress, I co-sponsored the Care for Her Act, legislation to support a woman with an unexpected pregnancy all the way through birth and child rearing by ensuring women know what services and support are available to them, including maternity housing, mentorship, and job training. This is something all Americans should be able to support. I look forward to continuing to support pro-life legislation and working with my colleagues to ensure all lives, especially those of the unborn, are protected.
The right to life must be protected, and I remain committed to protecting the unborn and the health of mothers. Thank you to everyone today in North Dakota and across the nation who are standing up to March for Life. Each life is a blessing, and now more than ever, we must remain committed to doing everything we can to remain united in these efforts.
Hey guys, as we're ending a week here in DC, we also are having a walk. People are gathering, and I can't use the name what it's called today because of ethic reasons, but basically they're standing in recognizing the anniversary is coming up, Roe versus Wade, which is the 49th anniversary of the disastrous decision that the court made to allow us to kill innocent babies. Since this disastrous ruling went in place, over 60 million innocent babies have been killed. How many leaders have we lost? How many sons and daughters and fathers and mothers and movers and shakers and entrepreneurs and creators have we lost? What have we cost this world by saying that we're willing to kill an innocent baby that's in the womb, that it's no fault of that child, but you're willing to end its life? Guys, I don't understand it. As a father of 6, as someone that my wife and I, we tried for 7 years to have baby, and then when she did get pregnant the first time and we had a miscarriage, I remember how devastating that was, because we were so excited the first time we heard the heartbeat, and then when we went back in for another checkup and we didn't hear that heartbeat, how it destroyed us. That was never, ever just a fetus. That was our child from the first time we heard the heartbeat. And now at the same time that we're trying to end Roe versus Wade and be able to save these innocent babies, the Democrats are trying to push what they call the On-Demand Act, which would allow you to kill the innocent baby all the way up till birth. I don't understand it. I can't even wrap my head around it. Nothing changed my life than the first day when I held my first child in my hand and how everything inside of me changed. Everything, my whole world changed. My perspective changed. And the love that I thought I knew went to a whole nother level. Guys, we can't be silent on this. We have to continue to fight until we end Roe versus Wade. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
Hi, I'm Senator Rick Scott. As a father and a grandfather, I firmly believe that life begins at conception, and that every child deserves to be welcomed with open and loving arms. I am unapologetically pro-life. We should all be able to agree that inflicting pain on and taking the life of an unborn child is abhorrent. It has no place in our society. Today in the annual March for Life, we celebrate the sanctity of life and reaffirm our commitment to make sure every child's life is valued. Thank you.
Our nation's capital will once again host many thousands of Americans gathering peacefully to support the most basic human right, the right to life. For 49 years, the March for Life has united people from diverse backgrounds, different faiths, and all 50 states. They celebrate the dignity of human life and confront the ways our society fails to protect it. This year, The marchers will arrive in a Washington controlled by a Democratic Party that's grown increasingly radical on this issue. Today's Democrats work overtime to keep our country one of just 7 nations in the entire world that have abortion on demand even after the unborn children can feel pain. Our shameful company includes China and North Korea. Fewer than 30% of Americans endorse this view, but Democrats have made it party dogma. On President Biden's watch, Washington Democrats have even turned against the long-standing bipartisan Hyde Amendment. Both parties used to agree that at least federal taxpayers should not be forced to fund abortions. Now Democrats on both sides of Pennsylvania Avenue have declared war on even this. So I warmly welcome marchers from Kentucky and across the country. This radical version of the Democratic Party needs to hear your views more than ever.
Hello everyone. Hey, I just want to express this to you. If you know me, if anyone out there is watching this and knows me or knows my wife Tracy, there's no question that we're not only pro-life, we're passionate about it. It was something we were involved with even before I got involved in politics. I believe life begins at conception. So you'll never see me supporting any bill that would cause taxpayer dollars to be used for funding abortion. You know, I'll do everything in my power to prevent infanticide. That the bill out there that prohibits abortion when the baby can feel pain. If I believe that life begins at conception, you know I'm going to support that. Everyone knows where I'm at on this issue. It's not just a political decision for me. It's what I believe is right in my faith. I believe that God creates each life. I believe that life is precious. Whether it's me, whether it's my wife Tracy, our children, our grandchildren, they all know and understand how important the fact that a life is to me.
To all who marched, thank you. Thanks for giving your time, that irrevocable gift, and braving the cold to stand and give voice to the voiceless. I've always promised the people of North Dakota that I would fight for life at all stages, and I will always fulfill that promise. This is an issue of women's rights, and it is one of the most important issues of our day, perhaps the most important. It's an issue for the millions of women who have been denied the right to life. I fully support women's rights. I just began supporting them 9 months earlier than some of my colleagues on the other side of this very important issue. The sanctity of life is not a political fight. It's a fight for humanity itself. I stand firmly with you and all those who are marching. Now is the time to join together to give the future of our country, our next generations, the right to life.
Today, Americans are here in our nation's capital, marching for life. By giving a voice to the voiceless, the March for Life today sends a powerful message that every life is precious and worth defending. This message of hope has never been more important. Democrats have become absolute extremists on the issue of abortion. They believe it should be taxpayer funded and on demand up to and even after the point of birth. Americans know that that is wrong. The Republican Party continues to stand with the majority of Americans who oppose Democrats' radical abortion agenda. We stand without apology for the sanctity of life, and we work towards a future where every child, born and unborn, and every mother is loved and protected. May God bless everyone marching for life today, and God bless the United States of America.
Hi, this is Senator Deb Fischer. I want to thank the thousands of Americans and the Nebraskans who have traveled to Washington, D.C. for this year's March for Life. I am so proud to see all of you making your voices heard on such an important issue. You are standing up for those who do not have a voice, the unborn. Now, more than ever, we must continue to do what is right and push for pro-life policies that show compassion to mothers and their babies. Thank you for being part of this movement and fighting for life. God bless.
Thank you.
How old?
He's 6 weeks. What number? This is number 3.
I love the theme this year, where equity starts in the womb. That's exactly right, because that is where life starts, and that is the very first place we must protect. If you take a smartphone and you Google 15-week baby, and you look at the images, the clarity of which we see now into that incredible miracle of life in that mama's tummy. It's irrefutable. Law needs to catch up with the science. It is technology in part that's given us amazing clarity in terms of what's happening in that amazing process of conception and gestation and birth. That's the battle that we're fighting right now, that Mississippi case. Many of you heard those oral arguments, and we're optimistic that we're going to get a good ruling. You know, our founding fathers were very clear about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As you know, you can't have liberty. You can't have the pursuit of happiness without that first unalienable right of life. I'm proud of the fact that the Republican Party is so unwavering in its stance on life. And we must continue to be a very loud voice to make sure that we never ever stutter one moment on our commitment to life. Our work is still much to be done, and get ready for a great moment this summer when we overturn Roe versus Wade. God bless you.
I thank everyone participating in a March for Life. And it's wonderful when you go there because you see people who are young, who are old, women, men, all races, all united around the sanctity of life. So for you marching, let me just tell you, you're making a statement. You're making a statement not just about the sanctity of life, but about the diversity of Americans who care for this topic. Thank you and Godspeed.
Hi, I'm Tom Tillis, Senator from the great state of North Carolina. This week is March for Life, and I'm encouraged by everyone in D.C. advocating for those who cannot advocate for themselves. We must vigorously renew our efforts to defend the sanctity of life. Each of us has a duty to protect the most vulnerable among us, even those who are not yet born. I'll continue my work in the Senate to protect innocent unborn lives, and I appreciate all the work you do. God bless.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is what we celebrate as we approach the March for Life. So to everyone coming to DC, welcome. To those of you who are in your states and gathering together to celebrate life, churches that are meeting and recognizing Life Sunday, thank you for the commitment that you have made to protect life.
Thank you to all of you who have been in the fight for life for such a long time. We have worked hard, we have pushed hard, and there's finally light at the end of the tunnel. The Dobbs case from Mississippi that is currently before the Supreme Court would send the decision on abortion back to the states as it was before Roe v. Wade. This would be a crushing blow to Roe v. Wade, and it would be a tremendous victory for life. You know, as we reflect on 49 years and the lost lives of 63 million babies where their lives have been snuffed out, we can never stop fighting. We must continue working hard until this stain is removed from our land. You know, our founders said that we believe these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these, number one is life. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Without life, all other rights are denied. We must never, never stop fighting for life. We must always be a voice for those who have no voice, and we must continue working hard. God bless you and the work that you do, and let's keep staying strong and fighting for life.
Abortion is a very difficult issue. Difficult on a personal level because of the stories that are behind it and the circumstances that sometimes lead to that point. Difficult because it invokes two competing rights. The right of a woman to choose what happens with her body, it's a real right, and the right of an unborn human being, the right to live. And we're forced to choose which one of these two competing rights wins out. And I'm so proud to see that so many young Americans have come to Washington because they've chosen to err on the side of life. If you think about it, life is at the core of everything we do. We have a military to protect life. We have laws and police departments to protect life. We've turned our country's economy upside down, closed businesses, forced people to wear masks, threatened to fire them unless they took a shot to protect life. We value life in so many things. But what life? Should it not be all life at every stage of development? Look, I'm convinced that future generations will look back at these years, at these decades, and see the sheer volume and numbers of human beings that were never allowed to take the first breath outside the womb and be horrified by it and call us and consider us to have been barbarians. Human life is precious, and it should be protected no matter what stage of development it's in, no matter what stage in its life it's in, especially vulnerable life. And every year I'm inspired to see so many young Americans come here to Washington, D.C. and lend their voice to this worthy cause. God bless you for what you're doing, and God bless this movement that I believe is on the verge of prevailing.
The Declaration of Independence guarantees all of us certain unalienable rights that no one can take away from us. These are rights that are God-given, things like life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And yet, this weekend, we all step back, many of us with prayers, with tears, with great mourning, remembering some 60 million American babies who have lost their lives and have been denied the right to life because of the vile act of abortion. Saturday marks the 49th anniversary of the disastrous Supreme Court decision of Roe v. Wade. And today, all across America, even right here in Washington, D.C., thousands of people from various walks of life gather here at the National Mall and will march to the Supreme Court in honor of and remembering those who have lost their lives. You know, in 2021, right here in America alone, some 700,000 babies were killed to abortion. By far, the number one killer, beyond drugs, beyond accidents, beyond cancer, beyond heart attacks, and yes, beyond any virus, the number one killer, abortion. And so we come today to remember those, and in the midst of a horrible fight, we continue to stand, we continue to march, we continue to pray. This is our time to not surrender or wave a white flag. We're making great progress, and I'm hopeful that the upcoming decision from the Supreme Court, the Dobbs decision, will mark a great turning point in this battle for life. You know, life is God-given. Jeremiah 1:5, God speaks very clearly, and he says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I planned every day of your life." And yet we are seeing Democrats continue to fight life. This past year, we saw the removal of the Hyde Amendment, which protects your tax dollars from being spent for abortion, and yet the Democrats removed that. We also saw them pass legislation that allows abortion all the way up to actual birth. It's horrifying. I encourage all my colleagues here in Washington to support a resolution that I've put forward, House Resolution 58, which acknowledges January 22nd as a day of tears in honor of those babies who have lost their lives. And make no mistake, the right for life, the fight for life, is not a Republican issue or a Democratic issue. It's about babies. It's about 10 fingers, 10 toes, a heartbeat. It's about little boys, little girls, and we're fighting to defend them. So I'm asking all my colleagues to join and sign on to House Resolution 58. And I want to thank each of you for standing in the gap, for your prayers, for your concern, for your involvement in the battle for life. God bless you. Have a great day.